Romance of the Three Kingdoms Chapter 10. Ma Ting rises up to defend the emperor. Cao Cao in fury prepares to attack those he believes murdered his family. The two key rebel leaders, Li Ju and Guisi, want to murder the emperor straight away and seize the throne. However, two other leaders, Zhang Ji and Fan Chou, point out, the people won't stand for it. They will see us simply as the ones who overthrew the dynasty and killed the emperor. So, instead, let's pretend we support the emperor, seize power within the palace and get rid of any who support him. Then and only then will it be safe to kill the emperor. Grudgingly recognizing the strategic wisdom of this, Li Ju and Guisi agree. The emperor is forced by the rebel leaders to reward them with official titles. Frankly, he has no other option. Emboldened by their successes, they decide to give Dongshui an honorable and official burial. However, so few bits of his body can be found that in the end they have to have a wooden effigy made of him to lay in the coffin. They decide to bury him at Meiwu. Choosing an auspicious day, they begin to perform the imperial burial rituals. But as they bury the coffin in the ground, a terrible thunderstorm erupts. So torrential is the downpour that it floods the site, causing the coffin to float out of the ground on a surge of water. The coffin is smashed into pieces. Despite this, they try again. However, during the night the coffin is once again washed out of the ground, as thunder peals and lightning flashes all around. A third time they try to bury him, only for the same thing to happen yet again. By now nothing remains of him, not a fragment of bone or flesh, for the lightning has destroyed what the floods have not washed away. In this way heaven makes plain its anger, its real fury, against Dongshui. Rebellion arises everywhere. A rebel army of 100,000 march on the capital, but they are defeated and driven off. The Yellow Headband rebels rise once again with hundreds of thousands of men in armed gangs. When the rebels Li Ju and Guisi wonder who can tackle this uprising, they are recommended to call upon Cao Cao. Within a short period of time Cao Cao has defeated the rebels and has received the surrender of over 300,000 former Yellow Headband rebels. From among them he chooses the best to join his own army. Basing himself in Yenzhou, away from the capital, he in effect builds up his own court, drawing into his service many wise and worthy individuals. Now that he has become so powerful, he decides to bring his father and the whole of his family to Yenzhou so they can see how important he is. Thus it is that the whole family, over 40 members, around 100 servants and over 100 wagons piled high with their goods, set out on the long journey to Yenzhou. They pass through Shuzhou, where the imperial governor is Tao Qian. He is a genuinely good man, who meets them as they enter his territory and hosts them in the city. He then gives a former Yellow Headband rebel leader, Zhang Kai, and his men the task of escorting Cao Cao's family to the border. En route a fierce storm lashes them with rain. They are all soaked through and take shelter in an old temple. While the family are given reasonable quarters by the resident monks, the soldiers have to make do with the chilly, windy corridors. Wet and cold, they start to complain. Hearing this, Zhang Kai summons his lieutenants. As former Yellow Headband rebels, we've gained almost nothing by surrendering. But in the wagons and chariots of the Cao family there's enough treasure to make us all rich. In the middle of the night let's kill the whole family and take off with the wagons. What do you think? His men greedily agree. So that night, while the storm rages, the rebels slaughter the entire family, hunting them down as they hide in places like the toilet or as they try to clamber over the walls to escape. Not a single one of them survives. Then the treacherous rebels burn the temple down and flee to Huainan. When Cao Cao hears the terrible news he collapses, weeping. Believing that this was a plot by Tao Qian, he swears revenge and orders an invasion of Shuzhou. He gives instructions that, when the city falls, everyone is to be murdered. Ministers and courtiers try to plead with Cao Cao, but he will not be swayed. Blinded by anger and hatred, he presses ahead with the invasion. Soon the province is terrorized by his soldiers' brutal massacres. Not even the graves of the dead are respected but are looted, and bodies desecrated. Tao Qian rides out at the head of his army to meet Cao Cao's vast horde. He tries desperately to reason with Cao Cao, pointing out that they were both betrayed by Zhang Kai, but Cao Cao is deaf to his pleas. Returning to the city, Tao Qian speaks with his advisors and declares that, as it is his fault this invasion has occurred, he will offer himself up to Cao Cao to try to stop any more violence. But someone comes forward and says that the city is well defended. I have a plan, says this man, which will mean Cao Cao will die somewhere where not even he can have a decent burial. Who is this man and what is his plan? We will find out.